Good afternoon, brothers, sisters, sheep, heathens, goats, deceiver. This was known about yesterday. He's running off. He's running scared. Flatzoid is running away from this stream because he knows he's going to be proven false. But I have the ability and the right to speak for Flatzoid because he's already answered this question. And we will look at Flatzoid's words after I ask the question. And I'm going to show you with scripture where you're slapped wrong, Flatzoid. And we're going to wait. I'm going to have a couple follow-ups on Flatzoid's words when I speak for Flatzoid. Let's get on with it. Is Yahweh Jesus' Father? Because the Baptists were taught, and Flatzoid will tell you, we'll see here in a second, Yahweh is Jesus' Father. Okay, I'm going to speak for Flatzoid right now, since he is proven. Okay, Jesus is not, okay, well, Flatzoid, I'm speaking for you. Jesus is Yahweh. Okay, so are you a Trinitarian? Okay, well, Jesus would be Yahweh's son, wouldn't he? By your words, but you're not a Trinitarian. Okay, well, Jesus is Yahweh, and here's the proof. Let's go read it from the Bible. Let's go read it from the Bible. Exodus 3:14. Exodus 3:14 says, I am allowed to speak for Flatzoid because he's chosen to run away. Okay, Exodus 3:14. Any version you want, Flatzoid? Is the KJV okay with you? Okay, we'll continue. Okay, and God said to Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Okay, well, how does that prove Jesus is Yahweh? I'm looking for an answer. Okay, you said Jesus is Yahweh. Explain this. Because right there, Jesus is Yahweh. So you're not a Trinitarian, apparently. You're not saying, because up here, I said Jesus' Father is not Yahweh. You said in your un-Trinitarian beliefs, Jesus is Yahweh. And this is your proof. Okay, well, we just looked at that. What does that prove? Okay, strike number one. Okay, now, oh, wait, read more. Here's more proof. John 8:58. I'm glad you went there, because we were going there. Verily I tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am. Okay, perfect. Let's go read John 8:58. John 8. 58. Jesus said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Okay, and that proves what? I mean, you're trying to patch it with this. Who's the God of Israel? Okay, now, we're going to find out who the God of Israel is. Okay, when the Most High, who is that, Flatzoid? Okay, you're agreeing with me. That's Jesus' Father. I'm glad you're agreeing with me 100% because that's what it is, right? Jesus' Father. The Most High divided the nations their inheritance. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Hold on, I got to do this. We got to do this first because there's inheritance. What does inheritance mean? What is the definition of inheritance? An inheritance is set of assets that an individual bequeaths to their loved ones upon their death. So you got that. It may be subject to inheritance taxes, a receipt, inheritance assets. Okay, what is your inheritance mean? Money or property which you receive from someone who has died. But we know what inheritance is. It's something you receive. You receive. You can't receive an inheritance from yourself. The beneficiary. Okay, who's the beneficiary? Who's the beneficiary of this inheritance? When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, still, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So, who is the God of Israel? Yahweh. So Yahweh is the God of Israel. How did, okay. How did Yahweh receive Israel? According to biblical narrative, Yahweh became the God of Israel through a covenant established at Mount Sinai. No, because we just read that in Deuteronomy. Huh? How is it? Exodus. Why is that here, but he's receiving it here? This is out of order. Or just telling the past tense. But either way, Yahweh became, okay, Exodus 19. Oh, okay, yeah. Exodus 19 to 24 commandments. That's right. We went over that. Let's go look at that. Let's go look at that. We went over this. Everybody that's paid attention knows about this. Exodus 19, the covenant. The covenant, where if you touch it, you're going to die. Yeah, because right here is where we're supposed to, between this verse and this verse, there was words spoken that God commanded that we never got to hear. But yeah, we do get to hear them in the next chapter. But see, not after the death threats, not after the thick clouds of darkness, not after smoke and the Lord descended upon it, smoke therefore ascended in smoke and furnace and the whole mountain quaked. Where is it? Where is it? Where was it? I think well, all the scariness, all the scariness. Now here's where we get the Ten Commandments. How come we didn't get them in 19, 8, and 9, 7 and 8? All right, wait. Okay. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. Well, God is not darkness. God is light. Jesus is light. So Jesus is not dwelling in thick darkness. So therefore, Mount Sinai, Moses went into the darkness where the God of Israel was, Yahweh. And we got to remember in Deuteronomy, the Lord Yahweh received Israel as an inheritance from Jesus' father. Do you have anything to say about that, Flatzoid? Nothing. Okay. So let's carry on. So Yahweh inherited Israel from Jesus' father. See, now this is the reason Flatzoid made a point. He was in here looking. This is the reason Flatzoid made a point to run away. Now, please, some of you people need to put him on blast. He needs to stop because he's already sold his soul. He's just making it worse. I don't know if he can be forgiven. I'm not the judge. I'd like to see him forgiven. But for him to go off and start doing what Robert Breaker does, start telling the date when the rapture's coming. The rapture is history, Flatzoid. Please, dude. Will you stop? Because the Bible proves everything you was told by your Jesuit teacher. I was wanting to know if the Jesuit preacher school you went to was Catholic based, Baptist based, Was it Protestant or Catholic based? because you know more about Jewish than you do Christianity. You know nothing about Christianity. I just sat here in this 10-minute video and proved that. You know nothing about, or you do, but you're trying to push the Jewish religion. Now, there's only one group. Let's go back to the Bible. All right. Judaism, okay. Culture, ethnicity, and culture. Who are the Jews? Who? Okay. So, talk about Jerusalem. Over there, where they say it is, right? We know where this is. Okay, let's go see what the Bible says about those who claim to be Jews. Behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Straight from Jesus Christ. Was you a Jewish-based school, or a Catholic-based school, or a Protestant-based Jesuit preacher man school? Because I was allowed to speak for you because I showed your words, because I spoke nothing out of context. For a second, look, Jesus is Yahweh, so you're not a Trinitarian. Because my question, or my statement, was Jesus's Father is not Yahweh, and the rest of it, yeah. So Jesus' Father is not Yahweh. You didn't even touch that. You just went straight to, no, Jesus is Yahweh. Well, these two verses you pulled up mean nothing. You know who else was before Abraham? What was his name? Lucifer's his title, was his title. Started with S. Samuel. Samuel was before Abraham too. You know, the fallen angels, they was fallen before Abraham. So Yahweh can say that too. Yahweh can say the same thing. And Yahweh can say this, you know why? Because he's a liar and the father of it. How can I say that? Because we know Jesus Christ told if God were your father, he's talking to the Jewish Pharisees and the Torah believers. Is he not talking to the Jews here, Flat Zoe? You know, in John 8, the one you requested to prove for your proof. Okay, he's talking to the Jewish leaders. He's talking to the Pharisaicals. He's talking to the Torah believers. He's talking to the Yahweh believers. Okay, Abraham is our father. Okay, there you go. Going right along with your words. You wanted to bring up Abraham. Yes. Let's go. I'm allowed to speak for you because I'm just reading what you wrote. So if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. But now ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God. You know what they're doing there? They're mocking Jesus. We know who our Father is. Nobody knows who your Father is. That's what they're doing. Because remember Mary, Immaculate Conception, there's confirmation. All right. Jesus said unto them, if God were your Father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. Didn't say Yahweh. The Most High is who he's talking about. Remember the Most High, the one that divided the nations? And Yahweh, a God, received from the Most High. So John 8. So neither I came up I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father Yahweh, and the lust of Yahweh ye will do. Yahweh was a murderer from the beginning, Cain, and abode not in the truth. He's a liar. Because there is no truth in Yahweh. When Yahweh speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For Yahweh is a liar and the father of it. That's exactly what Jesus is telling him. Because these are the Jews, the Pharisees. You went here to prove. Okay, well, I'm using the very same. Now, you going to show me where I'm wrong? Speak up. You knew this was happening. So I'm allowed to speak for Flat Joey. So he has nothing to say. He cannot defend his word. He cherry picked a verse that has nothing to do with nothing. He tried to match it with another verse that has nothing to do with nothing. And he's clearly not a Trinitarian. So Samuel, Michael, Raphael, all the angels were before Abraham. That proves nothing. Jesus was before the angels, you know? So yeah, you just failed again. You you should have humbled yourself, dude. You shouldn't have sold your soul to the devil. You're trying to make back on your investment. That's what you're doing. You spent all that money, paid a Jesuit to tell you. Now you have to work or you lose all that money because you realize you bought nothing but a teetotal lie. You paid for a total lie, and instead of exposing that lie, you intended to make a profit off of it and lie to people just so you can try to get your money back. It's sad. Sad. Feel bad for you, dude. I'm not the judge. I'm praying you can be. I'm praying I make it. This might be save me a seat in hell if you think that's where I'm going. I might be there with you. But you've sold your soul out to try to make back on that investment once you realize you were handed a lie. And they probably told you it was a great way to make money. Kenneth Copeland found a way. Creflo Dollar must have even changed his name because there's no way he was named that. Benny Hinn. You followed the masses down the wide, dusty path to hell. You knew what you want. Do you think you get a reward in hell for the souls you bring to hell with you? Do you? It's sad, dude. Why do you continue? There may be a chance. I don't know. Praying there is. But I'm not the judge, dude. I'm not the judge. You're date setting instead of actually talking about the truth. You're doing what Alan does. Both of you two. Shelley, you sold your soul out for money. These YouTubers. That's why I'm tired of YouTube. People like this. They don't want the truth. They just want to see. They just want to be famous. Try to make money. Well, that money stays here when you die. That money is going to do you no good in eternity. That money is not going to comfort you in that pool in the lake. You really want to continue down this road, Flatzor. You're willfully supporting the satanic system. You're willfully supporting the Satanists Jesus spoke of in Revelation 3:9. And you're proud of that. That's why this world's going to burn. I just pray, Lord, your will be done. God bless.